If someone offered me to wipe out my credit card debt right now,
I would suck if I didn't get two of the balls business there. Okay, because it's 16,000. How much do you eat today?
I spent $0 on my wedding card. I spent it all together.
I would get it.
This is
I'm sure Arm and I went in the fact that he makes it. That was 3 things. Sure, you apple, but apparently he's a really good looking.
This is
the wrong
Listen to the show. It sucks. Adam.
Thanks, Adam. Fuck you, Adam.
oh my god.
wrong song. But
The minute I heard myself saying a no homo joke, I was like, this isn't
no homo. Yeah, fuck you, Adam. Like, man, maturity blows. Hi, everybody. I'm gonna start it out. I'm your host, Tyler Charles, today for the Two Hippies, One Drunk podcast. Thanks for checking us out. If you haven't yet, like our page on Facebook and our YouTube channel. Also, we are on iTunes, so review us, subscribe, like, all that stuff. If you want to give us 5 stars, that'd be fantastic. This show runs a little bit.
You want to give us 1 star? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Move along.
Just move
keep
along.
your opinion to yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. This show runs a little bit different because we switch hosting roles between myself, Tyler Charles, Scott Ryan here.
Yes, sir.
And Eric Fady. And each week we pick a subject and we run with it. And so, yeah, thank you for checking out Two Hippies, One Drunk. And again, I'm your host, Tyler Charles.
Yep. I liked the salute you did when you said your name, Eric. Have you ever been in the military?
Also,
that was
this is a podcast, right?
I haven't done that in a long time, but that was actually the Tool Time salute. From
this is an audio
I still do it
mainly form.
I still sometimes do it.
People can't hear a salute. That's all
I know,
saying.
but there are some people watching.
Yes.
Otherwise, I could just wear my funny shirts every week. So
yeah, that's why they're here for your funny shirt. They're like, which one is he gonna wear this week?
And I bet you probably. I feel like that was some subliminal shit too, because we're talking about childhood cartoons this week, and I bet you did the exact same bullshit as a kid I did, where you had Simpsons at 5, Simpsons at 6. And then, I guess I'm 8 years old and I'm watching Home Improvement.
Does it? But
it did roll on UPN.
But
it rolled right into each other.
What does that have to do with his shirt?
Oh, I was saying his salute. His tool
times. Do they do that?
He said it 5 times. He said my tool time salute.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Tool time? I haven't seen. In a long time.
Well, Home Improvement, and then inside of Home Improvement, of course, it was.
That's the show that's in the show, right?
Yes.
Tool time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you not watch Home Improvement?
I did, but very sparsely. It was not a lot. Let's talk about not something else in the 90s. so guys, our subject this week is our favorite childhood cartoons. I've personally looked up some weird facts about cartoons in general, and then I thought that we could end it with Eric and Scott both trying to name as many cartoons as they can and see who wins. More or less.
Wow. Do I have to You probably have to, because there's going to be crossover. So should I walk out of the room at that point?
No, I was going to say
he's
going to take his headphones off.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to. Cause only one person has to, because the second one, it's they don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So that's essentially what I was planning on doing. But we can start it off. Let's just start with what was let's say top 3 cartoons when you were a child. What were they, Eric? So let's start with you.
Well. So it definitely changes. When I was a kid, it was 100. I mean, 100%.
Let's say 5 to.
Yeah, gotta have
kid.
5 to 12.
Okay, so that range. I mean, it's
that's honestly, a huge range. That's
the 90s.
When
5
I
to
was
10.
5, I was watching Care Bears and shit.
Why were you watching?
That's a good point. 5 would be different than 12.
Some people watch Care Bears as an adult, so whatever. I don't know.
But I'm not that sad of an adult. So
I definitely am. I watched a lot of cartoons way beyond my age, but I'll say in my kid age, it's honestly not even a question. There was it was Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Bobby's World. were like my three.
I've looked some stuff up about Bobby's World.
I know, I did.
Information.
I'm actually excited because you actually are good at research. I'm kind of hoping you tell me some really fucked up stuff about that show.
I don't think I have like anything really fucked up, but it's interesting. It's fun.
I mean, did you look up Howie Mandel and his weird OCD?
But that's not an aspect of the cartoon. That's just I'm not doing an episode on Howie Mandel. I'm doing an episode on
Bobby.
Maybe Bobby's
I'm saying I guarantee you he was constantly having to leave the studio to go wash his hands for the 20th time.
Yeah,
that day.
I wasn't aware of that seedy underground of Bobby World. No, the information I looked up. Let's say, let me do one.
Wait, you're not going to ask me.
Oh yeah. Well, since we're addressing it, we can get into the Bobby's World thing. What are your top?
Let me say one.
Okay,
go ahead.
What, Eric?
No, as a small kid, and like it's funny, I feel like there's enough of an age difference between us that there's really no crossover. Like I never watched Bobby's World.
What?
I did.
No, never.
I love this shit. That opening is one of the best. Yeah.
When I was like 5, I was all about like Inspector Gadget.
Oh, that's good. Damn it, that was a good one.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Inspector Gadget.
There was like
what was it? Here.
Now they
real quick, Scott. With those movies like Inspector Gadget and like Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, to me, the idea of these bad guys were always so like, what was their actual agenda? I never got it.
I know inspectors. Well, there is a theory about Inspector's gadgets, like the Claw, like who the Claw is and what his whole thing is.
I've never looked into it.
Okay, but I want to know the rest of your.
No, when I was watching Inspector Gadget, though, man, like I would like. There was something about the fact that you could just see his claw and his cat, and he was just always like, "Oh, like." Gotta stop him. Gotta kidnap Penny or whatever.
What was funding this?
Nefarious to me, dude. I wanted
it was
to see
definitely
his face
nefarious.
So I wanted to see his face so
he
bad.
He never wanted to kidnap Penny. She just always got into shit.
Yeah,
he was never after Penny. That's a part of the theory. But like,
really?
Who was funding the Claw though? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, if we're talking about it, I'm just gonna tell you guys.
Well, yeah, okay, real quick. Okay, they have that. Care Bears. I was a huge Care Bears fan at like 5 for whatever.
Care Bears had an awesome Star Trek themed episode once that I always remember.
Never seen Care Bears. Never seen Care Bears. My mom. Yeah, I was gonna say the reason I didn't watch Care Bears is because my mom, like, thought it looked too much like heaven, and she didn't like a cartoon trying to give you an interpretation of heaven. So she's like, no Care Bears. Yeah. None of that love stuff. Like, heavens, whatever, we make it. Like,
I would, like, because I feel like if we're talking about childhood cartoons, this is definitely going to come up at some point. But like, me and Tyler both grew up as Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah.
And so, like, we both had it restricted what we could watch.
Yeah, I never watched The Simpsons as a child.
Yeah, but your mom had, like, such an insane, very specific thing that was her own rules.
Yeah,
that wasn't anybody else.
That's true, because, like, she wasn't even following the religion. Like, they had a whole, like sermon about how you're not supposed to read or watch the movies of Harry Potter. And my mom loved those movies and those books. So she just read them to us and was like, that's stupid. You can tell the difference between real magic and not magic. She would let me watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer at like,
nice.
I was like 7.
But not Care Bears. But not
Care Bears because looks a little too much.
It does seem a little inconsistent. To say the least.
Wait. I want to tell you that theory. Oh, did you say all 3? You said
Care Bears. Didn't say all 3 yet.
Yeah, let me think. Inspector Gadget, Care Bears, and honestly, The Simpsons. Man, I was from a very young age very into this.
Yeah, you had like memorabilia from that shit. I remember you having that book with all the like references and stuff in it. Yep. Like, man, he was into it.
I had like the CDs with like
the music. We used to listen to that shit all the time.
The CD-ROM. I mean, dude, I didn't say The Simpsons only because anyone that knows me knows how obsessed I am to this day with them. So I wanted to go a little different.
Did you watch that as a kid?
Oh yeah.
As a little kid?
Oh yeah. I mean, as young. You know what's funny about the Simpsons for me? And you guys say that people that watch The Simpsons now or whatever they think of them now, you wouldn't even conceive that it was bad enough to not watch. But I had friends who couldn't watch The Simpsons 100%. The only reason I was allowed, because both my parents were pretty prudish, and they kind of still are, but the only reason I was allowed to watch it is my dad thought it was funny. If my dad hadn't liked The Simpsons, I wouldn't have been allowed to watch them.
Yeah. Dude, I had the exact same situation. Like, I remember my parents, like my stepdad, like I had a stepdad since I was like 3, so he was basically my dad. And I remember him and my mom getting into fights sometimes because he was like, you shouldn't be letting him watch this. But my mom liked The Simpsons.
You know, the another thing is I had to turn, but my dad would make us turn off Itchy and Scratchy. We had to turn away for like a minute. We couldn't watch the Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, I've been rewatching The Simpsons with Scott.
Oh, it's brutal.
That shit is violent. Like, it is absurdly violent. Like,
I actually don't. You know, I've actually never liked Itchy and Scratchy
in cartoons. Honestly, even including like Rick and Morty, which is pretty fucking violent. Like, those Itchy and Scratchy scenes are very obscene.
Yeah, they are. And I agree with you, though, Eric, as well. Like, they were never a thing I really liked as a kid. It was just like, okay,
it didn't matter to me if my dad
Itchy and Scratchy cartoon. Like,
that didn't bother you?
I watch them.
No.
I feel like I'd be like, I want to see those scenes. My parents don't want me to see them.
It was never an issue. My parents never cared.
Oh, okay. They didn't care. They cared for you if you watched.
They care, but when I watch them now, when I run through them all on Disney Plus and stuff, I don't fast forward, but I don't know. I just don't care for them. But
they're just upsetting sometimes.
You know what? I'm a weirdly, I don't like blood and guts and shit. I've never been a fan of like I don't like horror movies. I don't like shit like that. Not that it's a horror movie, but you know, whatever.
Can we talk about really quick? Because somebody just left this comment, and I really love this. They said, my mom was too busy being a hippie and a drunk to watch us, so we used to watch all kinds of stuff we shouldn't. and I feel like that's the other flip side of like when we talk about having kids that weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons. There were those other kids where it was like they were allowed to watch like Beavis and Butthead and South Park.
No, hell no.
And shit like that. And,
not allowed.
I couldn't watch anything else. Like they were very protective of me. I'm telling you, it's only because my dad liked The Simpsons. And for me, thank God, because The Simpsons shaped my entire...
Dude.
To his dismay, by the way, in the end. But
dude, okay. Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, to my dad's dismay, it shaped my entire sense of humor for the rest of my life. I don't think I would be the same person if I didn't like The Simpsons. And
no, 100%. Yeah, no, and I always had a weird thing. Like, I felt like my parents would fight about The Simpsons, but my mom liked The Simpsons, so I could watch that. And then Futurama, I was just 100% not allowed to watch.
What?
For a reason.
But it was because there was the episode early on where like Layla sleeps with some captain of a ship or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And my dad happened to like walk in during that episode and he was like, nope, never again. You are never allowed to watch Futurama.
Dude. I think Futurama is really underrated. I love
Honestly,
Futurama.
I would get that. Like you walk in and just a sex scene is happening on a cartoon. Like, I'm sorry, kids. Like,
and then Family Guy, I was always allowed to watch because nobody just knew what it was.
Right.
And nobody ever like my dad would come in sometimes and be like, what the hell is this? But then get distracted and just like walk.
And not paying attention. Yeah. Okay, wait. I want to tell you about that theory because I think it's pretty interesting. So the claw theory is that essentially the claw is the original Inspector Gadget because they say that the Inspector Gadget is the second inspector and he got deformed and messed up and went crazy and found out they replaced him and he's after him. And he always kind of protects Penny because he never like hurts her or goes after her.
Why would he protect Penny?
Because it's still his granddaughter or his niece. Because he's the original Inspector Gadget. So that Penny is his niece.
How does that make sense?
Go back and watch that show.
Because Inspector Gadget was what do you have an issue with that?
Okay, like let's say a cop has a badge number and then he goes insane and somebody else gets his badge number. You don't now get his family. You're not.
That's true. But I think that it's like they just like made a clone of him. like essentially the same.
I think this is a little different than a regular human cop situation. We got to go. I'm the guy sitting there watching a TV,
like creating another version of him, to replace him.
So, but
and Penny helps him because he's on the side of good.
But if they created another version of him, like, is Inspector Gadget fucking? Is that
no? He's a
Go Gadget
niece,
dick, just
niece.
Yeah.
Penny's his niece.
So many of those cartoons, by the way, back in the day.
All I'm saying is Claw is the original Inspector Gadget who is going after the new one because he's like, you can't replace me.
I mean, it would have been a better plot for the movie than the actual movie.
I don't recall that movie whatsoever.
There was a movie?
Yeah, exactly.
There were like 2 movies.
There were 2?
Yeah, the first one had Ferris Bueller.
You're right.
Matthew Broderick.
That. I saw that in theaters.
I saw it in theaters. It sucked. It was
wasn't good.
Like older, like are you talking back in the day, or they like brought it back like in 2000s and did a movie?
I think 2000.
They brought it back. It was like I remember being like 11 or 12.
Are you sure?
I remember being like I was done with Inspector.
Even
Gadget,
that would be like
it was a nostalgia thing for me.
At 11 or 12, you had nostalgia for a cartoon. Fair enough. I think that'd still be like 2000 if you were 12.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And then the other thing, I want to get into this Bobby's World stuff. So
just real quick, Inspector Gadget 1 was in 1999, and there was a second one in 2003.
The second one had.
You saw the second one?
The second one, yeah, I saw both.
I can't believe they did one in 1999. Like that comic, that show must have been over. Like it couldn't have been like much. You know, I assume it was all in the 80s or maybe.
Can't believe they brought it back 4 years later.
And it wasn't, the problem was it was one of those things like it wasn't loyal to the source material at all either.
No, it was weird. And like they were trying to like make it more realistic or something.
And I wanted like a huge part of it. As a kid, man, you give me a good villain, I'm into this thing. They had Dr. Claw. Dr. Claw kicked ass as a villain.
He is a good villain.
And they didn't have him.
Did they show his face? Did they ever show the Claw's face?
Yeah, from the beginning.
That's kind of irritating.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's whack. You can't have the Claw without like the ambience of the Claw.
I'm trying to remember if the villain was even Dr. Claw.
I wonder how that's. You know what would be funny now is like cartoons like that. Like I'd like to see the last cartoon episode of like did they close the series up? You know what I mean? Did they wrap it up, or did it just kind of have an episode? You know what I mean? Like
yeah. Yeah,
because like cartoons like that, like way back in those times, like you know, like ones I mentioned, even like Ninja Turtles, like did that cartoon show have an ending, or did it just kind of go off the Saturday morning cartoon thing at one day and it was just gone? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when you talk about those theories about Dr. Claw and stuff, it's like how much effort were they putting into this?
Like, for the movie or for the show?
For the show.
For the show, probably they cared about it. Those were some original concept things. Like, I feel like you'd care about that thing, right?
I've often thought...
You think they're just pumping out these cartoons like, fuck it.
What were you going to say, Eric?
No, what I was going to say is, you know, that's another thing that I think of when you mentioned that, though, when you guys are having this discussion about what their theories, this and that. Like, as an adult, as like a 37-year-old person now, thinking back to like writing a show like Inspector Gadget, like they would have been adults, and especially back then. Like nowadays, you know, you can get 18-year-olds that can come up with stuff on YouTube, but back then these just would have been grown adults, you know, and they're writing Inspector Gadget, and like, what was their thought process? Like, how, you know.
Well, that's what I was saying, and kind of answer your question, Tyler. Like, I feel like there's two types of creators of children's shows, and there's a dedicated weirdo, who's just. Where you're like, man, he's 30 years old. This is what he's wanted to do. He wants to make a show for young children for some reason. Or it's like, man, this guy, like, he got a creative writing degree. He thought he was going to write movies one day.
And then just kind
it didn't happen.
Got slumped into it.
He's drinking at 3 p.m. every day. Like, just fucking.
Right. I mean, you're probably right. And I also feel like, you know, there's some creepy pedophiles that are probably making cartoons.
Oh, 100%.
Like-
I could name them.
Like, I think, yeah, absolutely, that like it's probably in those three categories where it's like your life kind of accidentally took that turn.
I mean, the
Well, and then
dedicated
sometimes-
weirdo, that's a subgroup is creepy pedophiles of the dedicated weirdo.
Yeah, that's
Those
true.
two
That's
are
true. There's a
connected.
separate, yeah. But
And I would say, I think that sometimes as I've learned, as I've grown up though too, and known people like in, threads of the industry, the entertainment industry, there's also, I bet at times, like it's not even like they thought they're going to film movies. They're just, whatever. They're a stand-up comic. They're this or that. And they don't even, it's just one day.
I mean,
they're kind of
Howie
like,
Mandel getting that cartoon show, like what the
What a
hell was
transition.
that about? Like, how did he get Bobby's World? And it was on for 8 seasons. It was
8?
the longest running Fox cartoon.
seriously,
Fox
8
Kids.
seasons.
Yep, it ran longer than what was it? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and what was the Inspector Gadget?
Inspector Gadget was only 3 years.
Yeah,
Was it really?
yeah.
Yes.
That is surprising.
Damn.
Honestly, I thought that would be like, they have 5 seasons.
7 seasons of, what also
No,
I
eight-
haven't thought about
8
this.
seasons.
8. You know what I haven't thought about in a long time since you're mentioning Bobby's World is when I used to watch it on Saturdays. There was Louis Anderson had a comedy show that would I think would precede Bobby, like come after Bobby's World. And when Louis Anderson's show, it was like 10:30 or 11 or whatever time slot it was. It was like after that show, it was like cartoons were over for Saturday, and like I had to do things or something. Like
How did it? Who was these network producers being like, yeah, who kids love is Louis Anderson and Howie Mandel.
And honestly, holy shit. It's a big old comment. I was gonna say that how do you even like I can't remember now. I got distracted with the giant comment.
I want to look at this.
They're talking about sexual innuendo in cartoons, which is definitely a thing. I mean, that's
that's what I was gonna say. That Howie Mandel had like things about his specials in Bobby's World. So like, what's that
Really?
about? Yeah, it's for kids. Parents aren't going, oh, I gotta check out Howie Mandel's new special.
That's him.
They showed live footage of his special in Bobby's World.
I don't even remember that. Damn.
That's him going, man. Jerry Seinfeld gets to do it. I want to.
yeah. He's like, so what if I have a cartoon? Like,
Well, how Bobby's World would start out every episode, I do remember this, is it would start out every episode with a monologue where
Yep,
Howie Mandel, as a
Howie
human,
Mandel.
would talk to his child, I guess. Howie played the dad, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And he would talk
played
to
the dad
Bobby.
and Bobby. He played
Yeah, and
Bobby.
he'd sit there and be like, "What kind of shenanigans?"
Bobby
are we
had
getting
that
today?"
that little like, whoa, hold on, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Also, a
But
funny
that's
fact:
Howie
one
Mandel.
time, I traded several dozen Pogs for one Bobby's World Pog that my friend had found at the bus stop.
But I was never into Pogs, but Pokemon cards, that shit took over my life for a period.
Yeah.
For sure. Talking about like cartoons. And I was gonna say I hadn't done mine. My favorite 3
Oh yeah,
honestly,
but 8
would be probably shit. I didn't even think about this. Why did I even
You changed the subject to talk
I
about.
know.
Yeah, we were
I
literally. I was
had
gonna
it
get
in my
talking
head.
more about Bobby's World, and you just halted the show.
You're like,
I'm
stop!
sorry.
I have
Stop, I
something
have
to say.
something to say.
I-
Nothing. No, I do have something to say. Honestly, my favorite.
Prove it.
Yeah, prove it by talking.
This isn't helping. This isn't helping. That's not progressing. This is just taking it down to new lows.
God, there's so many good ones.
I
Look
know
at
there's
Tiny
so many
Toons was fucking great.
I would say
Huge
Rugrats.
Tiny Toons.
Okay, Rugrats, Recess, and
Yeah.
uh,
Yes.
Yeah.
ooh, maybe Ah Real Monsters. I love the shit out of that show.
Yeah.
You know what's great? Go ahead. No, you good.
I was just gonna say, like, I Real Monsters was one of those shows that, like, I don't know, I was always into, but I could never find. Like, it would be like if I like was homesick from school one day at like 1:30, it would just like be on.
Yeah, that's the benefit of like I was homeschooled, so I watched that shit all the time. I was just,
Right.
like as long as my mom was distracted, we could watch cartoons.
Yeah, that's how I thought about Our Real Monsters. I remember it. I liked it, But I just, for whatever reason, you're right. I don't even know.
It just
maybe
seemed
I didn't know.
so fun to me. I don't know. Like it had such a. Or I was thinking too. Like I really love Doug. That's another one that. Like, I love the crap out of that show.
Which is such a weird kid
It's such
show.
a bland. It's like it's a
but
slice of life thing. There was a theory. There's a theory about Doug that like he's a schizophrenic because he has all these hallucinations, and there were like
theory.
They were right. And he
or what the show's about.
In the hallucination, it would like carry over into real life. So like he'd be doing something in hallucination, but like he was riding his bike, and in hallucination he was riding his bike, but in real life he was doing that too. So he was like daydreaming while he was riding his bike. So it's super dangerous.
What was Skeeter exactly?
I don't buy that.
I would say what?
I don't buy that theory? Whatsoever. No.
That's fair.
I don't think
there's so many like you're in a dream thing or like,
and that's the thing I hate about, man. I kind of hate like TV theories and stuff like that. Like 90% of the time.
I have fun with it. I'll go down a rabbit hole.
I'm like, you're digging into it too much. It wasn't that. It was literally some guy who
some things are. I think so. Yeah.
It was a guy who wanted to make indie movies.
No, sorry.
And he couldn't fucking do that, so he made Doug.
So you think there's no insight other than just what's being shown?
No, not at all.
That's fair. I think that's not true for all cartoons. I think that, like you said, the crazy eccentric, they're putting like stuff like more meaning into their art. But you're right, a Doug is definitely being pumped out by some kind of organization somewhere. I love Doug. It's so fun. I don't know what Skeeter is. He's like a lizard man. He's green.
Because everybody. Oh, wait a minute. I guess no. Roger's like a dinosaur, right?
Roger. Which one's the bad? That's what I was thinking. Okay, Roger.
I can't believe I just said that name, by the way. I haven't fucking watched the show. And
he's blue.
Yeah.
Skeeter's blue and Roger's green.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Is like Doug is a weird one because
mayonnaise looking, fine as hell in that.
And I feel like Doug is a weird one because Doug is one of those, like, I swear to God, it was a guy, he had some like adult script called like Walking with Wallflowers or something. And it was like an hour and a half of just like two people having a conversation or something like that. Yeah. It never got picked up, and so he did Doug instead.
Yeah, you're right. You're right when it comes to that. I think there are cartoons that have more meaning to them.
Doug was weird. Doug was one of those shows that went from Nickelodeon at first, and then eventually like ABC started doing the one Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, was Doug the only crossover? Like, I don't know if anything else.
Nickelodeon do Saturday morning? Like, no. Is that a thing?
I don't think so. I think Saturday morning cartoons are done.
Yeah. I mean, I loved it. I missed that shit.
Dude, when you were a kid, like, think about
that's the best.
Dude, because back then you had nothing to do. I was presumably like nothing to do.
No, just get a big bowl of cereal, be in my PJs, and go watch Saturday morning cartoons.
It's not the same now. It's not the same if you have a day off and decide I'm gonna watch a lot of Netflix. Because in the back of your mind, you still like, well, I could go grocery shopping, or I could blah 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 blah. 10 other million things.
Nope.
Even as a child, I wasn't gonna get up early enough to watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah,
to be honest.
Why?
Really? You were always asleep.
I would get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays.
I remember when Doug moved to ABC, me being like, well, I'm not going to get up that early. I guess I'm done with Doug.
And then the funny thing is you were just done. Because it wasn't like you could go watch it on demand somewhere or something.
Yeah. No, not at all.
It was just, okay, I guess I can't watch that now.
Totally.
Okay, that's funny.
Okay, last Inspector Gadget story, but I was actually thinking about this. That like, I was thinking
that you got.
We should do a whole episode on Inspector Gadget, I guess.
Yeah, right. We really can go deep.
Right? No, okay. Like there was when the movie came out in 1999. McDonald's did in Happy Meals this promotional thing where there was an Inspector Gadget you could like put together. Like, do you remember that at all? Where it was like, they give you like an arm and they give you like a leg or whatever.
Pretty morbid.
And you could stick them all in together
because
you'd
have to get toy. Several. Yeah, you'd have to get several Happy Meals to get the toy.
And for whatever reason, like my dad got like into it, where he's like, "We're gonna get you this full toy."
That's too fucking funny.
And we kept going to McDonald's, and like we were getting new pieces for a while, and then there was one arm we could just never get. he ended up calling McDonald's, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have any more of those arms. We only made like a few of them."
Who did he call, the corporate? Or like,
Literally, they're giving you like a portion of a toy.
Yeah.
Each time, and you can't even get a full toy, even if you work at
why
it.
weren't they all proportional? Why didn't they have like 10,000 of each? Why did they just?
Did each arm do something?
Yeah, yeah. They all had little like
Things
it was,
they do.
yeah. He was like a little almost like a transformer.
At
or
least
something
for
like
that. At least
They had
each
the
one
little-
had its own purpose. I thought it was just like, a little dummy arm.
Yeah, so I had a little crippled Inspector Gadget, like, and it was fine. But like, I almost wonder if they did that on
Budget
purpose.
Inspector.
Like, if they're like, there's gonna be some weirdos who try to collect all of this, and we can just rip them off on so many Happy Meals if we just don't really make one of them.
Yeah, we don't have to give you a full toy.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
Maybe they never made it in the first place. This is the arm. They were like, if
Fuck
we
it.
don't get this arm, then we're making a lot more money.
McDonald's has a legitimate history of doing that.
Oh, I know. Yeah, yeah.
So-
I mean, it technically wasn't them. I mean, but yeah. No, you know what's funny when you talk about those Saturday morning too, like the idea of that prize thing, and maybe like remember when they would have like things too, like maybe Scott won't because he was never up, but Tyler, like they would sit there and be like, "Oh, if you want to, win $10,000 or a trip or something, send in a postcard to PO Box." Blah. And I'd always be like, back then, how the fuck would you ever know if anyone won those things?
Yeah, for
Like-
real. And you remember, cutting out things from cereal boxes?
Yes.
And sending that shit in?
Yes.
It was
Oh
so
my God.
ridiculous. Trying to get like some dumb prize
Yeah.
that honestly would cost you like $3 at a dollar store.
Seriously, yeah.
And then you save up 1,000 of those things.
But like the other one would be like, I mean, they would say like, "Oh, you're gonna win a $10,000 or something like that," and they'd be like, "Just send a postcard to this address and somebody will win." And it's like, how the fuck am I gonna know whether somebody won or not? Like,
Yeah, is that like advertisement for? Is it just like why do they want you? You think anybody's like reading those? You think people are winning those?
No, the thing is,
Or is
we
it
know
just
for
made
a
up?
fact nowadays that a lot of those didn't give out prizes to anybody.
right,
Didn't give out
right.
the big prizes, because that's definitely a thing. Like McDonald's has gotten sued for like they did that Monopoly for like years and years, and they didn't print a
Well,
board.
no, but what I was gonna say is that I was saying that when I said it wasn't technically like it wasn't. It was the firm that was running the McDonald's thing that was fucking them up. So because and not to get too into that, but like it just wasn't actually McDonald's. Like they went to what they thought was a really reputable like outsider
Did they?
gaming thing.
Did they?
Did they?
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, they don't only not because of out of goodness, but because I think that if you're going to run a thing like that, you want to not be the one to get sued when it comes down to it. That's the only reason I believe it.
Yeah,
probably,
maybe
but
that. How much is Big McDonald's paying you, Eric?
I
Yeah,
watched the whole
seriously.
documentary. I don't know.
Is
Did you
there
watch?
someone
I watched-
behind that sheet with a gun?
I watched an entire documentary on it, and so I like a 10-part series on it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where I derive that information from. But
you're like-
It's that HBO one, right?
yeah,
Was it
it's
good?
really good. Oh yeah, really good.
Yeah, I wanted to check that out.
Good to know. Good to know. So
Good. I want to hear some Bobby. I want to hear some of the Bobby's World stuff you have.
Okay.
Like,
Well, I mean, we
or you can
talked
say whatever
about
you
a
want.
decent amount of it there.
it's all right if it's not a lot. Anything would be funny to me.
It's insane. That's what I was gonna say too. That like it was the longest running series on Fox.
That's great.
Kids
8
in
years,
general.
dude.
Yeah.
Until Power Rangers, and Power Rangers has been
Damn.
on for fucking ever.
Dude,
so like
who was everybody here allowed to watch Power Rangers? I was not.
I was.
allowed.
I guess I liked them, but I don't know, for whatever reason I never fell in love with them. Like I watched it, but I didn't fall in love with them.
What about
Yeah,
like?
see,
Did
I
you
don't
ever
like-
what?
It's funny. Like I feel like I never understood it. When I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers. And I was always like, why? Like, what is the big deal? And then I realized, like when I was married, I had a stepkid. And anytime he would watch Power Rangers, he'd act like a little asshole for the next like hour or two.
Yeah, that
And I
makes
was
sense.
like, oh, that's why. They just didn't want me doing flips off the couch. Like,
Yeah, there you go. Probably,
But-
seriously.
Did
Yeah.
you guys ever watch Samurai Jack or like
Never even heard of it.
honestly like Dexter's Lab or
Dexter's Lab.
That's
it's
right.
the
That
same
got,
guy
like,
that makes all that stuff.
Older than me.
Or like
that was in
Powerpuff
the
Girls.
what's up?
Powerpuff
You
Girls.
see, all the things you just listed, I think, were in this small period. I
Later.
didn't watch that type of. Well, see, I watched
It's Cartoon
cartoons too
Network.
late, but I watched Nickelodeon. I didn't watch like.
Yeah. Cartoon
I think
Network.
that's more like Cartoon Network and shit.
Absolutely.
You know what's a weird one that like I absolutely loved as a kid was Johnny Bravo.
It's just he seemed like such a dick. I always felt like Johnny Bravo. There was something off about it, and it's not like my little child mind never was like, "Oh, he's being misogynist." I'm just like, I don't like you.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what it is, but your whole vibe, dude, I'm not a fan.
No, it is a weird.
Why
like
did you
he's
like
this
it?
like. He's like this. Why did I like it? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I just know I thought he was hilarious as a kid.
Okay.
Anytime
That's
he
fine.
was
I don't know anything about
It's funny.
I don't know anything about the show, but but my perception of it would be
Do
with
you know what
Tyler
it
that I
is?
would be. I know almost nothing about it.
It's just a buff dude hitting on chicks and getting turned down.
and he's weirdly like
11 minutes.
and
or
he's
whatever.
weirdly like an Elvis parody for some reason.
Gotcha.
Like,
Yeah, it's a weird thing, and I always thought it was just mean-spirited or something. I didn't like how he was with women, and they'd shut him down every single time.
Wow, so
rightfully
woke.
Yeah, they
Tyler
would
was
shut him
fucking
down.
even as a
That's
kid.
the thing.
Tyler said, "This ain't right. I don't like it."
Yeah. There's something wrong about this. I'm woke, mother. No, I.
He must have really been a
I have
fucking.
no idea.
He must have really been a misogynist for a young Tyler. Not that
You're
you
like,
are, but I'm
"That's
saying
not cool."
not that you are, but I'm just saying like at that time in life and at the
Oh,
age and at
absolutely.
the time when things were just like that. Like
Yeah, I should have been way more open to it. I was a '90s kid, it's okay.
in the 90s, we didn't give a fuck about that stuff.
Another Bobby's World thing that is weird is it came out a year after Seinfeld, and a lot of people think that like it was influenced by that because it's pretty much a show about nothing.
Right,
Like,
right.
Just about this like kids like fantasy life or like
Yeah, yeah.
doing that stuff.
and he
I
was
don't see- I
literally
really
doing
don't-
stand up in it.
What?
He was literally doing
stand,
stand up,
and that was another thing they mentioned. It's he
Huh.
straight up
I guess
goes
I'd have
and does stand up on a show.
I
His
have to go back
children.
and watch an episode.
Yeah, honestly, 8 seasons. You can
8
binge
seasons. That's a
You
lot
can
of.
get into that show for a little bit because it's
That's a
probably
lot of-
22 to 25 episode season. or-
You couldn't
Dude,
pay me to watch an episode of Bobby's World as an adult.
Yes, you could. Shut up. I hate when people say that because
Okay, yeah. I
what if I deposit? Dude, I'm not even gonna go with this. Oh, I'll give you $1 million. I'll fucking throw you $100 in your Venmo. You're not gonna watch a Bobby's World.
Dude, you pay me $10, I'll watch it.
That's one of my
when you went
biggest.
too high, dude.
That's one of my
$5.
biggest pet peeves, dude. is-
$5 and he'd do it.
No, $5 I'm not. I
You're not
gotta
watching?
work tomorrow. I don't know. $5 is too cheap.
Fine,
Did
but
you
10.
watch
10.
the whole season or just
An episode.
An episode.
Yeah, an episode.
$5 for an
No.
episode?
No.
I'd do it. I do it for free, but like whatever.
It's only
I'd probably just
22
watch that
minutes.
show.
I don't. It's for small children.
I-
I
that's
find
what I'm-
Howie
that's-
Mandel very unappealing. Like, no.
I would do it for $5. I do it for
But it's
free.
not really
I just
Howie
watch it.
Mandel. It's like he's playing a dad. Time for
Well, and Bobby.
movies.
He's also
Um,
Bobby. So yeah.
He is
Oh, is he? I didn't know. that.
Yeah, he's the voice of Bobby too.
Just real quick though, that
It's
is
just
one of my
like his
biggest pet
show.
peeves. When people say like you couldn't pay me enough to blank, and it's like, dude, the thing after that, it had better be horrific before I'm gonna believe you. Like, I don't want some asshole. You couldn't pay me enough to sit through a musical. Yes, you fucking could, you
Yeah,
asshole.
yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could pay me enough to eat human shit, to cut off a finger, to
Yeah.
fucking-
right. I don't know about
that would
cutting
be
off a
real
finger,
hard.
but
I
to
don't know.
slap my mom in the face, any of that. You could pay me enough to do any of those things.
Yo,
oh, I'm not saying there's not. I don't know about cutting off a finger, but
I need to earn more
$1
money.
million
see how-
to cut
how-
off a finger.
I want to like earn money just to see how far Scott will go. More money.
$1 million
Yeah.
to cut off a finger. You're doing it, right?
$1 million? I don't know, man.
How are you
I have
even
to cut it off like myself. I have to just cut my finger off.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could-
don't know, man.
And it's not because I give a fuck about losing the finger. I don't care about that. But that pain.
Pain, yeah, exactly. I feel you on
That
that.
Oh.
$1 million, $1
How,
million.
how
million?
like, looped up can I get? Do I have to be?
Yeah, exactly. Do I have to be sober? That does matter. That hinges on that. Honestly.
You could buy so much Vicodin with $1 million.
Not immediately.
Yeah, but are you giving me the $1 million? And then I mean,
can I get the Vicodin first as part of the payment?
If you know a guy, yes, absolutely.
Oh, so if I have a pocket full of Vicodin, I could just take that, then do it?
Yeah, I mean,
yes.
Yeah, that's in the rules.
I'm cutting my finger off for $1 million.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know. I'm not doing this out of any like I said, like moral or not moral value, like stubbornness or anything. I hate pain. So like,
nobody thinks you're a cow. I've seen you drink your pee for free.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, dude, you can fucking shit in my mouth. I'd let you shit in my mouth for $1 million, but like cut a finger.
Oh God, that is so rotten. That is so upsetting.
Real quick, can I?
What?
I want to bring you. I'm going to say this, and we can get back to something else. But I have to bring this up. We used to talk about this because they thought I was such a fucking crazy person. I know you guys are going to think it too. But we used to have this discussion on the Detroit cast, where I told them that I would rather have a guy stand over and pee on me than a girl, and the reasoning is like
why?
I think that I don't really love girls peeing are so gross to me. And the other thing is like, if a girl's gonna, I
feel like it's way less. It's like it's so quick. It's just a dumb.
There's people that pay women to do that.
I know, and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, and then my other thing was like, if this was a girl I was interested in, like I wouldn't be able to do it. After she stood over me,
I just feel like time-wise, you'd be there less. You'd be like being peed on less by a woman.
But see, like some of these homophobic
you could be there
dudes,
for like a minute or two. If the guy really has to pee.
Some of these homophobic, they're like, "Oh, you want to see a dick?" And it's like, I've seen dicks all this. It just doesn't bother me. A dude, one of you guys standing over me, just pissing on me, and be like, that's fucking gross. But like a girl, I'd be like, that's disgusting.
That is not true.
I don't understand
if you were pissing on me, I'd be like, this is disappointing.
Yeah.
If a girl was pissing on me, I'd be like, this sucks, but it's not that bad.
100%. I'm with Tyler.
Yeah.
I just
like
was
at
curious.
least I'm looking at a vagina.
I'd be like,
cool.
I am in no way, shape, or form turned on.
It's not hot to me, but I'm like, it's better than a dick.
Not the end of the way. If you gave me $200, I'd let a girl pee on me.
Yeah.
Sounds like it could be less.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, $200 is my starting negotiation. We can work
it down, and it will go down.
All right. I had to bring it up because we were talking about that.
Peeing on me, it'd have to be like
so juxtaposition. Why do you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
As a kid, I don't remember what it was. I will tell you this. I don't know are you trying to segue into Ninja Turtle facts, or are you just asking?
No, I'm just asking.
I would say this. I like
Turtle facts.
I like the Turtles, but I honestly, Ghostbusters was like, I was so into the Ghostbusters.
I forgot that show. Oh, I'll talk about that in a second. But why was Ghostbusters, why did you like that show? I feel like that was on for like 2 seasons.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, I should know this. I didn't look up anything about Ghostbusters, so
it's all right. I was so fucking into them though that like I had like a backpack, and my dad made me a trap. I went around. I grew up in this I've lived in a few places, and one of them when I was a very little kid, it was just in a very small cul-de-sac off of a main road, so it wasn't like leading into other. It wasn't in a neighborhood. It was just like cul-de-sac off of a road.
Yeah.
And I literally like wrote up little flyers and put them in all the houses, telling them like if they had ghosts to call me, and I was gonna come there and bust them, I guess.
Okay, you know what's a weird one? Ghostbusters kind of falls into this, but one's even more so that they had an Ace Ventura in the Mask cartoon.
I was gonna say,
I remember that.
That Jim Carrey. That was another fact that I had. Jim Carrey did not know or sign off on those cartoons at all.
Really?
But more importantly, those were PG-13 movies leaning towards R.
Right? For sure. They probably could. They should have been R, probably. I think they only did PG-13. They probably skate. I bet they fucking bribed someone to get those to be.
The other one?
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura definitely was leaning towards R.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters went 7 seasons, dude.
Oh, 7 seasons? Dude,
yeah.
I barely remember that show. No. When? Was that the 90s?
From 1986 to 1991.
Okay, so it was only.
So I know that's
90s.
only technically like 5 years, but I think back then, dude, like seasons were with cartoons. Seasons were weird.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Eric's a little bit older than us. We would have been 3 when that wrapped up because I never watched.
Arsenio Hall played Winston. That's fucking hilarious. I didn't know that.
Damn.
Oh, they had a black guy doing a black guy. Very, very. They didn't.
That's good stuff. You know,
then.
we were just talking about how kind of fucked up it is that Apu is voiced by a white dude. I'm like,
right.
That seems so inappropriate.
Well, it's a combination of that he's voiced by a white dude, and the only joke is that he's
Indian. Yeah, it's not like about his personality or anything. It's just like he's a stereotype, and that's what's funny about it. But he should probably be voiced by someone that.
Yeah, I guess he probably should have. Well, you know, the problem was I know this guy that I met through the podcast. We had him on our show a few times, and he's Raj. I can't think of his last name right now, but he's actually a very big. Even though I know you guys wouldn't necessarily know him, but he is pretty big, and he does comedy. And we had him on a show talking about that one time, and he not only didn't, I don't know what he thought about the actor doing, you know, I don't know if he got into the race of the voice actor, but he had zero problem with Apu being popular. Like the idea that people are like, oh, it's offensive, it's stereotypical.
Well, I don't think it's a problem that he's that like popular.
Well, then the problem is that if you have an Indian person doing it, now you're asking an Indian to do an Indian.
Yes, but it is a.
Thank you.
It is better though.
Yeah, it's better, and
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not.
Like, he's supposed to be a stereotype. It feels better if it's like you just walk into a gas station and it's a stereotype Indian or stereotypical Indian, and that's your role. That sucks. But if it's like the whole thing is satire.
No, you're right.
He's supposed to be a gimmick, but just maybe have him be an Indian dude because it gives them work. And it's a good thing in that aspect.
No. I'm not saying it shouldn't have been that. I just was kind of I was just making a point where in a way it'd be weird because like I know this guy like he wouldn't like to do like he goes on casting calls for shows even and stuff like that, and he doesn't want to do the Indian accent because it's like, you know what I mean? It's so it's a tricky deal for sure.
Yeah.
And you got to remember the Simpsons started in 1989, and it just at that time it wasn't, you know, people didn't think about it as much. Not that they shouldn't have. I'm not giving excuses or anything, but it's lasted so long that it's to its own demise. Like it's lasted to this point of you know a completely different time.
Yeah, absolutely.
The crazy thing is you could have completely gotten rid of Apu because his episodes kind of suck.
Yeah,
even in the classic seasons.
Yeah,
the one where he gets married. The one where he gets married, I like.
Yeah,
and there's like one other one.
I mean, he's on the bowling team.
He's just in that.
Yeah, but it's not an Apu episode.
Yeah, that's not an Apu episode.
Oh yeah, well, but he's never meant to be as a. You know, he was obviously a side character, and really the only reason he had more probably is again once a show goes 30 fucking years, eventually you got to start writing episodes about the other people.
There's like, what is Otto the bus driver doing in his free time?
There's so many characters they still could do spin-offs on. To me, I don't know why they don't do that more. Honestly, because I still watch every Sunday, and if you think you're right though, if you think about it, why not do more episodes where they fucking dive into some of these other people? But
yeah, really good,
dude. I was talking to Tyler about what I would love to see the Simpsons do more than anything is they've been floundering. They've been irrelevant for probably like 20 years at this point, right? Like, you know it. You know.
No, I don't. I disagree. I think it's bullshit, but
it is.
And like, if they wanted to come back and be relevant, have a season where a bunch of famous people who do other things each get to make an episode of The Simpsons. Like, have one where Dan Harmon does it. Always Sunny cast. Fucking
right.
Like
that would be a cool idea. I'd be up
he was
for
saying
that.
David Lynch,
because all of these people like grew up with The Simpsons and they love them.
Right.
Yeah, no, it'd be so cool funny to have like its own like your version of it. Their version of it.
It'd almost be like when a musician makes it to a certain point that he's so respected that artists do like a tribute album.
Yeah,
like that. Like that would be a cool. No, I would totally be okay with like. I would absolutely if they did a season where they like we're gonna do a crazy different thing this year, and every episode is gonna be done by like you said, Always Sunny or Harmon or different people. I'd be down with that for sure.
Yeah, for real. Okay, so we got like 10 minutes, so let's do this.
Man, time flies.
I know, seriously, it's like bam. So let's do this. Scott, take your headphones off.
All right.
Oh shit, we're doing this thing. I forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see how many.
How much like do you want me to set a timer
how
over
much time
here?
does he get?
Yeah, let's give you 20 seconds.
Oh, 20 seconds. Shit. You want me to counter? Start the timer? Or
let me start the timer.
Give him a minute. Let's do a minute.
Let's do 30 seconds. Let's do 30.
30. Okay, is what he said.
30. Okay.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Oh, what do you want? What do you think? A minute?
Nope, 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Ready?
Okay.
And go.
Ghostbusters, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Bobby's World, Simpsons, Futurama, King of the Hill, Family Guy. F is for Family. I'm trying to think. Recess, Doug. God, the pressure. Recess, Doug. Fucking Bob's Burgers. BoJack Horseman.
Nope.
What?
Not 90s.
Oh, what? Oh, it had to be 90s?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't.
You got 13. You got 13.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I didn't realize you said it had to be 90s. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's fair. You were naming a lot of. I was trying to tell you.
Do you want me to redo it?
No, that's fine. You got 13. You got
Okay,
13, and that's it. But you named a lot of awesome cartoons, so that's cool.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I forgot.
So let's go. Ready?
Yep.
And go.
Okay, Rocko's Modern Life, Rugrats, Simpsons, King of the Hill, South Park, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken,
Ooh, yeah.
Dexter's Laboratory,
Oh shit!
Doug. Why am I spacing? There's so many more. PJs.
Damn it, the PJ.
Oh my God! What? How am I blanking out on more cartoons? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Inspector Gadget, Care Bears.
Yeah, you won! You won! Got 14!
I didn't even say Inspector Gadget and Ghostbusters.
He got
Oh my God.
14.
I didn't say
You
Bobby's
got 13. That was pretty impressive. It was just like I was like, oh my God, who's gonna win? Scott won. That's pretty dope. Woo woo! We don't have like any like
Damn.
like radio like buzzers or whatever.
I'll come over and pee on, or you can
Cool.
come over and pee
Everyone
on me
the
for his
podcast
victory.
who's just listening to the audio.
You
Scott
just
won.
want a dude to pee on you.
I feel like you're just bringing it up. You just keep bringing it up.
It's like, oh damn!
It's a
I guess I
callback. That's what's
lost.
called a callback.
Yeah, a callback to you being peed on.
Nonetheless.
Yep. If I've learned anything from this episode, it's that Eric loves to get peed on.
By dudes specifically.
By dudes specifically. He hates when women do it.
We said I don't know if it's a specific Detroit cast term, but we used to say that when women pee, it was like a fucking finger over a garden hose that.
I've heard that before. Yeah.
Oh my God. So let's get into
I don't know
some
what's going on
final
down there.
thoughts. Let's do some
Final thoughts.
Eric, you want to go first?
I don't know what the final thought. You know, what my final thoughts are is like, fuck. There was a lot of cartoons
Just
that
for
were
the
really
record,
cool.
we us doing the final thought thing, I didn't realize that that's like a Jerry Springer
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
I did not realize
realize
that
that?
the last episode.
Oh, I knew. I knew that it was they did that on Springer or
Yeah,
Springer, but
Yep.
I just figured with how our show kind of goes and
No,
how we do
absolutely.
episodes.
I just realized that. I didn't know if you guys did.
Oh
Was it
yeah.
called- It
Did
wasn't
you know,
called
Scott? You
Final
know.
Thoughts. It was called something
No,
more pretentious.
Jerry's.
No, I
final
thought he just
thought.
said my final thought. This is my final
It's
thought.
Jerry's final thought.
Was
They-
he?
It would
Okay.
show the little things.
Imagine being that fucking pretentious.
Yes,
You
my thought on
yeah,
this
you
thing
do
I
a
set up.
show where it just a bunch of people with mental disorders are doing fist fights, and you try to pretend like you're Alex Trebek at
That
the
show
end of
was
it.
fucking
Like-
crazy.
So, final thoughts.
Oh my god! I guess my final thoughts are just like cartoons are fucking awesome. I think they
back
get
on.
so. I think that the idea, even though we didn't broach this area, but just thinking about it, the
Oh,
idea
we'll get
that you
into more
need to
cartoon
be.
stuff.
We got to do another cartoon episode for sure.
Absolutely.
But like the idea, the thought that you need to be a certain age or whatever to enjoy them. I mean, I'm not gonna get into that.
Nonsense.
It's ridiculous.
I think that there is a genre of cartoon and stuff that like is really centered for children. It's like Scott said, where it's being pumped out.
yeah,
Like it's just like not, it
Well, we
doesn't
didn't
have
even
life to it.
we
but
didn't even get into
So
SpongeBob.
many of them are
Like SpongeBob's fucking
too.
hilarious.
Yeah.
My final thought is that if you are an adult watching cartoons, you should be ashamed of yourself.
And that's
And-
insane. That's an insane concept.
I literally always that's
Or
mostly what I
opinion
watch all
or
day.
whatever. I mean, so your final thought is like fuck cartoons.
I honestly, okay, a cartoon for adults is like whatever, like that's fine. I get it. Like you're watching any medium
dude,
is okay,
Avatar,
and it's for adults.
Adventure Time, like there are so many cartoons
those aren't
amazing.
I am grown.
I
watch
that
grown
are on the
people
level
things.
of it. Avatar is maybe one of the best series of shows, period, I've ever watched in my whole life, including adult stuff. So like I'm pretty sure that you should take that statement back.
I know. I absolutely 100%. It's fine if you want to watch something for adults that is a cartoon, but if you are a grown man, you watch stuff for adults. You watch live action.
Yeah.
I literally could not disagree anymore.
Exactly.
I couldn't disagree any.
Do you not
more.
like whimsy? Do you want life out of your life?
No.
Have some fun.
Okay, well,
listen to your inner child. He's screaming at you.
Okay,
to watch some cartoons.
My actual thought about this, and we've talked before about this, Tyler, is like my problem with watching as an adult shows made for children is that no matter how good that show is, it still needs to be comprehended by a child.
No, not always. Not always. I disagree with that. I think that a lot of them.
It's cool to shut your brain off. Too.
I think exactly, and I think that a lot of them age up with the people that are watching them, and I think that a lot of them are universally like fantastic. I'm telling you, man, Avatar is one of the best shows. Period. And it's a children's show, but it's also one of the most informative.
I think we live in an infantilized society where people, where the biggest movies, the biggest movies are based on comic books in there. So,
I fucking hate comic book movies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same shit. It's this infantilized bullshit where it's like, oh no, the cartoon aged up with the adults or whatever. Like, okay, that's kind of sad.
No, that's sad. That's what it should do. It should mature with the people that are viewing it. That's insane to have that like opinion. You're crazy. You don't get final.
I have another. I have another thought, and that is that.
Send me your final thought as host, and I'm saying they're fucking dope. I agree with Eric. That's my final thought. I mean, you just gave your final thought. I'm not being a dick.
I want to throw in a second final thought. My second final thought is that I don't know what VCU stands for as a college, but they suck because they beat Dayton tonight and lost me $10.
Eric gets two final thoughts to interrupt about sports.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No. So anyway, Eric, what are we doing next week?
I want to be an asshole.
What are we doing next week?
Oh, what do we got next week? Next week we're going to talk
Eric
about
hosting.
Yes.
We're going to talk about I guess the best way I'm going to say it is like just music snobbery is the way I'm going to word it. Like I think that music is really I love music. I couldn't get through my life without music. And when you talk to people like music, you hear that all the time. People go, "Oh my God, music is life," and this and shit. And yet people, like all humans do, for some fucking reason, we have to sit here and quantify everything, whether they're to this, they're to that, they're to blah, blah, blah. And I don't understand it. And so I just want to talk about some of the different things that happen, in my opinion, like with snobbery. And also that maybe we can talk about some embarrassing music.
Okay.
That we all like.
Yeah,
like maybe pick like an artist. Well, I'll pick an artist that would be considered embarrassing to enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
That sounds
so
great.
We will see everybody next week. Thanks for checking out Two Hippies, One Drunk, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome.